Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. A busy show today. We are in a fast market between the weakness in China. Thank you very much, Tencent. We have this crazy strength in Canada stocks. Thank you very much, Constellation Brands. A couple earnings on the radar. Sean Udall will join the show at 8:35, but let's get right to it. Oh my, Joel, what is happening in this market overnight?
It is. Everything is going haywire here. Canopy growth exploding. We have the S&Ps. We'll just start with the top. S&P futures are down 16.25 at 24.75. Man, we hit that 28.43 area again. I may be getting set up here for a bet with Dennis on the overall market. Big level on the downside since Friday morning. We've been holding 28.20. Your pre-market low 28.21. That is the key to the market, I'll say, for the rest of the year. SPU's down 56, or crude down 56 at 66.48. Testing that will be testing the low of the move at 65.71. Turkey must be selling older gold. Gold down $6.50 at 11.94.20. Silver under $15 again at 14.83. And the safe haven in the market today, Bitcoin trading up 267.50. These are the futures at 63.20. Triple D, how are you doing it? Do we have like the fast?
Yeah. There's no dress shirt today. It's a t-shirt because I've been up all night trading these markets here. It is in a fast market. There is so much stuff going on. I had to adjust my trading portfolio, my overnight portfolio very quickly here this morning in the pre-market because I was long a lot of stocks. NVIDIA, have been long NVIDIA because of the run up into earnings. I've talked about that. It got the nice double upgrade from Wells Fargo last night, so I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Thing was trading up. I actually added to the position, and then the market just pulled the rug out from under everything tech. So, anyways, I'm actually long a little bit of NVIDIA, but I've hedged it with AMD. So I basically am short AMD, long NVIDIA. It's a pair trade here right now. We'll try to work out of that probably today or tomorrow. Obviously before the earnings report, I'm not going to take NVIDIA through, but I'll tell you, man, there is so much carnage. Most of it coming from China. Let's go to China here right now and start looking at some of these stocks. Tencent, you could say, is the catalyst maybe here today. Give us a report for Tencent. It doesn't trade actively over here, obviously, until after 9:30, but we know over in China, it's trading down 3 or 4% here right now. Give us the numbers here for Tencent, Spencer, and then we can jump into some of this massacre in the Chinese stock.
This was a really bad report. Earnings per share, and remember, this is in yuan, 1.89 versus 1.98 expected revenue, 73.7 billion yuan versus 77.3 billion yuan estimate. So they missed that number as well. That's the slowest revenue growth since Q2 2015. Net profit 17.9 billion yuan versus 19.6 billion. 2% year-over-year decline, 23% quarter-over-quarter decline. That's the first decline in net profit since Q3 of 2005. So this was and there was a lot of reasons why, regulation, but this was a bad report.
This is the stock that is the leader over there. It's been the leader. It's been an unbelievable performer over the course of the last few years. And when you see the stock miss, it's going to hit them all. And if you look here this morning, I mean everything over in China. You thought yesterday was bad. This could be worse here today. So we know Baba. We know all of them got murdered yesterday. Well, you just might as well have a repeat of yesterday because they are all getting murdered more. So again, what we were saying on the show yesterday, when these things were just down a bit in the pre-market, people are asking. They're interested in buying the dips. And I'll tell you, what I've learned here, when stuff starts going to like a little bit of carnage mode here, wait for the dust to settle. Maybe there's going to be some value. Maybe, you buy Bob at 167, maybe you do make some money. But, yesterday it looked pretty good, 174, 175, but it was still in a free fall. So what I've learned is sit back, relax, let the dust settle a little bit, because you usually get a second chance, and that's when you strike. The dust isn't settling here in just one day. And you can see here, if you were buying it yesterday thinking, well, how low can it go? You're immediately down another 3 points in Alibaba, 167. Yes, there's some nice levels it's coming into. Yes, there's some support. Yes, it's going to get a bounce here eventually. But why be the person, to stick your neck out here and then get your head cut off if, it's not the bottom? And that's what's happened to anybody who's been buying these Chinese stocks over the course of the last couple of weeks. They've been getting their heads cut off.
And, just from a perspective, like you look at the Alibaba, you look at the Tencent, I guess we'll go with even though it's like the hardest symbol in the world to type in. I mean, you're looking at this thing is probably like around $42 right now.
Can we see these charts, Spencer? I know we're still showing my ugly mugshot, which I haven't slept all night.
I am using,
not looking that cute.
I am using Thinkorswim today just because my trade station is being a little bit weird. So pulling up my Tencent, which is not traded.
Pull up the monthly, because I don't want to get real particular levels. I just want to say, look at this monthly chart. You'd had to run up to $61. Oh yeah, well now it's at 42. It looks cheap. Look where it was at the beginning of 2017. That near $25, $24. There's a lot of people still sitting on a lot of profits on this thing, and they don't care. They'll come in and whack this thing at 41, 42, 40. So, just be careful. If you're looking like your daily or you see something on like a 15-minute chart, get a longer term perspective on this thing. I mean, I'd stick a bit out, maybe, theoretically, this thing could go to $25. It could get back all those gains. That it could go up. It takes a year to go up. You can go down in 2, 3, or 4 months. So never was a big fan of these stocks. Got tanned a little bit trying to short them, but, we'll see what happens. That's what happens in these markets.
Let's just jump into some of the other stocks from over here. We'll look at some charts here. Spencer's going to get them up there. So Baba, let's go to Baba first. You're in a free fall here, but this is where you bounced from. And we're not saying it's going to bounce at these levels. It's coming at it hard. So it can just cut through this like a hot knife through butter. But you did bounce multiple times here down to 166 this year already. So it is coming into a major support level, has come a long ways down. I mean, it could bounce. So I think if I was short the thing, I'd be thinking about maybe taking some off in that area. I'm not sure to jump and hold, put my neck out there to initiate a long on it. But this, is coming a long ways.
I see your 166.13 low. That was your monthly low in April. I see another monthly low at 168 and change and 164 and a quarter. I mean, you can pick these levels and stuff, but you at least want to see like a double bottom. Or maybe a red dog reversal on something like this. So, be patient, wait for a double bottom or some kind of really, really wash out, big volume print, which is much harder to tell nowadays. I'll give you just hanging out at the pre-market low here, 166.80. So you do have a little bit of a buyer there. So I'll use that 166.80, and even if it takes that out, I still see support down to 166.13.
Jump over just to all these other ones here. So the little Momo plays we were playing, like IQ, down another 5%. HUYA lost 15% today. Let's just lose another 6% for fun here today. I mean, these things are in free fall. There's no support in these things. Like, even if you look at the charts, because they ran straight up in May and June from these areas. So what goes up quickly through an area goes down quickly through an area often, and that is exactly what we're seeing here. So again, these things are going to bounce eventually here. SOGO is coming in some major support around $8. Maybe that's going to be your level. Maybe we're going to get a dead cat bounce. I mean, I do like that level, that $8 in SOGO. But again, these things are just completely out of favor here right now. So if you're buying, you're definitely fighting the tape.
Okay. All right. S&Ps are trying to bounce back, folks. Keep an eye on 28.20. That was Monday's low. Current low, 28.21. All eyes on that level. Actually, if you look at it, we've been in a trading range from 28.20 to 28.43, which we hit late in yesterday's session. Also was Monday's high.
We got the start of retail earnings season really here. Macy saw kicking off here this morning from the major ones. Macy's just reported at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock. They're trading down here. They're reporting on the absolutely wrong day. I wanted to short it ahead of the report just because I was like, man, they're going to have to blow it away.
Oh.
Spencer?
Yep, that was my mistake. I just cut us off. Sorry about that, folks. User error. Back to Macy's reporting on the wrong day.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Macy's absolutely reporting on the wrong day is what I was saying. They were going to have to blow it away today to go higher. Apparently they did, and it's trading down 4%. It's in free fall here right now. Spencer, details.
Yep, my mouse froze, and I ended up closing out the Skype call. Macy's, wow. Q2 EPS 70 cents versus a 50-cent estimate. Sales 5.57 billion versus 5.55 billion. So it beats on the top and the bottom line. The fiscal year EPS guidance coming in higher by a lot. $3.87 was the estimate. $3.95 to $4.15 is what they said. Total sales expected to be flat to up 0.7% on a year-over-year basis.
Whew.
I'll tell you, if this reported and the market wasn't getting assassinated here today, like the overall market, I think, and I'm really talking a lot of these other overseas markets, but I think the stock could actually be trading higher on these numbers. This is a pretty good report. It doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter because it's reporting on the wrong day. And what I was saying before I got cut off is I wanted to short this thing in the pre-market ahead of it because it was trading up at over $42. And I was like, man, they're probably just going to have to really blow it away for it to go higher because this is the worst day it could possibly report on. I mean, they are not liking anything today. And, here you are. This is a victim of the overall market right now and victim of, a little bit of risk off here. Stock ran straight up. It's been running up into the report. So you knew it was going to have to blow it away. It did. It doesn't even matter. It was going down no matter what they said.
And got to pop up to 44 even. Remember those half and whole numbers. That's where the bigger orders do preside. That coincided with your December 2016 high of 43.79. We will not be seeing that today. As far as looking for support, we just hanging at yesterday's low of 39.51. So I'll use that as like temporary support. It looks like it's just going to cut right through there, though. After that, my better support today, I really think we could see 38.50 in Macy's. I see a trio of lows right at that area from August 3rd, 6th, and 7th. So 38.50 is your support level under Tuesday's low of 39.51.
I'm just looking. This is like one of those sell everything day. I'm having hard time finding anything green. The only thing that is going to be massively green here today is the pot stocks. We got an investment here in Canopy Growth, Constellation Brands, and it is exploding. So if you want to find maybe a safe haven, maybe it's going to be crypto and pot because they seem to trade together. Anyways, did you notice that correlation? Crypto and pot always seems to move together. They've been in the gutter. The pot stocks have been absolutely hated here for a while. This is going to turn it. At least, in the short term here, because we've got this investment here. Spencer, give us the details why we've seen CGC trade up 50% this morning.
Yeah, this is insane. So Constellation Brands investing $4 billion in Canopy Growth. So they already had an investment. They exercised some options. It's going to end up coming out to about 38% ownership of Canopy Growth by Constellation Brands. So CGC and STZ are our tickers here, and just some shameless self-promotion here. Couldn't have picked a better time to have a cannabis conference, which is why I'll be out on Friday. If you're into the Toronto area, the greater Toronto area, come and check out the Benzinga Cannabis Capital Conference on Friday, because this whole sector is hot this morning.
Yeah, CGC, this is unreal. So anyways, on this news, broke at 6:30 sharp. I actually was looking at it on the news. I could have bought this at $27, but I was like, I'm going to pay up 10% for this. Obviously, I should have. Hindsight's 2020. This thing hit $40 this morning. Now, I'm looking at this, and yeah, okay, huge investment, but we knew Constellation Brands was already somewhat invested, so they're upping it. It is a big stake, and they are taking a huge chunk of it. So this is what this sector wanted. This is what this sector needed. So it's not surprising it's getting a lift. $40 seems just way overdone. I mean, that's a new high. I mean, you just went from a stock that, had been in the doghouse here and, was trading 30% down from the highs on one news event. Boom, makes a new all-time high here up to $40. So impressive move in the pre-market here. We are seeing some sellers start to come in, though, and take some profits. And anybody who's been in this thing is waking up here now is probably ringing the register and say, thank you, for getting me all my money back when I bought this thing at $35 a month and a half ago and it was at 24. It was looking like it was going to be, real trouble for me. And it's back. So I'm not surprised you're seeing a little bit of profit taking here since those highs. And I don't know if that continues or not. I mean, it's a huge investment. It's still early here. So it just the way the chart was, it doesn't surprise me that it's starting to give some back.
Yeah, I mean, you fell off a cliff here. You basically went from you lost 4 points since last Thursday, and Street had no idea of this news. I would say on this one, fell off close to 24.62. I mean, if this ain't trade some volume or trade some volume in the little bit of volume here in the pre-market. If I had a big stake in this thing, you're getting this kind of move, I'd have. If you put 1,000 out in something like that, yeah, it's kind of thin. There's some good volume.
You can get out within 20 cents. You're getting out of 1,000.
Okay, what about like 5,000?
Yeah, work it probably for 30 cents. You'll get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be safe to say.
Most of our listeners probably aren't trading CGC with 5,000 shares. So
okay, all right.
Maybe some of our institutional guys. And the institutional money will push this. If you've got an institutional order to work, I mean, and you're trying to work this pre-market, you're probably going to move it $1. I mean, if you're trying to sell 25,000 or 30,000 shares of this, it's going to move it a bit. But I mean, it's pretty liquid, right? This is as liquid as this stock's going to get right now. It's fairly active. I mean, you can work it with some institutional algorithms. They're always working with the algorithm, but nobody throws out like a 25,000 share order anymore. Very rare. They work it with algos, and they slowly just sift it out there. And
36.50. I'm going to keep an eye on 36.50. I know we're trading it above right now. That was the all-time high, 36.55. You also had a 36.40 high. So if it holds in that, that area, man, you can maybe go up. But since you backed off 40 so much and you want a little bit of a rally mode, you got to get those orders out ahead of there. Even the high of the last bracket, we may not see 37.75, and just won't maybe be exactly like Home Depot yesterday, but the only time you got a shot at 198, 199, 200, that was in the pre-market trading. So could be it's obviously to see a real good day for this stock, but man, oh man, I wouldn't be long at 36.50 with your money, Dennis.
Oh, I'm not coming in here and buying it here.
No.
I think you're chasing it big time, and I wouldn't be surprised if this thing continues to give some back. Maybe it continues to go, but this is just, at this point in time, it's a little bit of gambling. Like I said, if I was long it, I'd be ringing the register, in my opinion. I think it's just, a little bit crazy. Let it digest a bit. Hard to initiate a short. I almost want to, but hard to do it just because the thing's so wild. Lots of sympathy moves here. We got TLRY, which is Tilray, trading up 12%. We got CRON, thanks to Spencer Israel, because I couldn't think of that one, up 13% there. And MJ, which is a pot stock ETF here, it's trading up 6% in the pre-market. So big moves here. Afria will probably get a big lift in Canada on this. Over here in the U.S., it trades under APHQF, but it's over the counter, so it doesn't start trading until 9:30. But I'd imagine Afria gets a huge pop on this in Canada today.
Okay. All right. Grant Wilkerson just mentioning the gold market here, and it's getting shellacked. And the only thing I can think about is, Turkey, must be owning a lot of gold or something, maybe just dumping that. Also, a side note here, the gold market volume has picked up the last couple days significantly. Trying to find a bottom in this once again. Good luck. Now under 1,200. If you're looking for a level, in January of 2017, we got to 1192, and the month prior 1170. So keeping an eye on the gold market, trading some heavy volume on the downside.
Market goes up, gold goes down. Market goes down, gold goes down. I mean, I've been saying on the show, I couldn't be more bearish gold. I continue to be right with this. I think we're going under $1,000. I think every rally in gold is to be sold. We're going to get some rallies. It's maybe a little bit extended here now. So I wouldn't be initiating shorts here now, but I'm just looking at any bounce here. People are just buried in this. They don't want to own it. I mean, whether you call, I don't know what the reasoning is for this, but it's just hated. And silver is the same thing. It's just absolutely hated. All the gold stocks are absolutely hated. Gold Corp in a free fall here. I was short it for a while. I wish it still was. Newmont Mining, free fall. AEM, free fall. Barrick Gold going to single digits is $10 here now.
Oh.
It's $13 a month ago. These things are all destroyed. And if gold falls to where I think it's fallen, they're all going to start losing money too. So gold is an absolute disaster. Sometimes people like to contrary and invest. I mean, you think it's going to turn around. You think, it's not going under $1,000. Maybe there's a case that you nibble in some, but I'm not in that boat. I just think it's just a new environment. the new, people aren't wearing gold like they used to. Like it used to be a statement. It was a statement, not necessarily of wealth, but people used it for fashion. It's not even fashionable anymore. So, is it the store of value? Well, yeah, but if it keeps going down, it's not a very good store of value. So I just don't see the usefulness, maybe that there was 10, 20, 30 years ago, because people don't even wear it anymore. Not as much.
If, it used to be, a safe haven, flight to quality when these crises, and now it's not even that. I still love, you still see these commercials. Oh, buy gold. It's safe. It's a safe haven. I mean, you still are hearing those things, and you've been hearing them for the past 6 months.
Well, everybody says the insurance thing. You got to own gold because when the market goes in the gutter, gold will rally. We haven't seen that for a while. It's completely decoupled from that. I mean, it used to be that way all the time. I used to automatically buy gold stocks when I saw the S&Ps trade down 1%. It's not the case anymore. That relationship for the last 2 years has not worked. So I don't know what it is. Maybe it's going to be crypto. Maybe crypto is going to be that new digital gold in this new age. I don't know, but I can just tell you the price is everything, and we follow price a lot on this, and it's telling you that nobody wants to own gold still. I don't know why that is, but I'm not arguing with the price.
All right, Spoo's trying to reclaim yesterday's low at 25.75. Monday's close was right in that area. Mid-range on the session, 28.32 is be a lower risk short here. All right, Spencer, do you want to do any 13Fs this morning?
I mean, I think the only one really worth talking about is Buffett.
Okay.
He's the only
For
one.
Sure.
He's the only one that really moves the market anymore. I was talking with some people here yesterday. It is worth it to kind of pay attention to see what stocks are like the most popular ads and buys kind of across the board. But just in terms of who, which fund moves it, it's really just Buffett at this point. So looking at the disclosure yesterday, or the filing yesterday after the bell, we have an increased stake in Apple. We knew that already, so that's not news. We have a reduced stake in American Airlines, in Charter Communications, in Moody's, Phillips 66, United, reduced stake in Wells Fargo, and the rest were all raised stakes. So he raised his stake in Bank of New York Mellon, in GM, in Goldman Sachs, in Southwest, in Teva, we knew that already, U.S. Bancorp, increased stake in Exalta, again, we knew that already, and the only one I saw where he got out completely was Verisk Analytics.
VRSK?
VHSK.
VRSK.
VRSK. Okay, sorry. VRSK. Yeah.
What did I say?
No, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Joel was right. Spencer was right on that. So, okay, and Buffett moves stocks. So there's really no new positions here.
Nope.
Because the new
Correct.
positions really move. When you see Buffett with a new position, it pops. So the raised stakes do move things. Teva was up significantly last night. It's given some of it back with the overall market. Goldman Sachs, for whatever reason, was trading up $3. And I was like, that's nuts. Anyways, it was trading up $3 because Buffett increased the stake. That's giving it back here because the banks are a disaster here today. It's actually still trading in the green, so it's got some good relative strength. But that being said, it's still a pretty big mess over there for the banks. So I'm not surprised that some profit taking happened in Goldman when it was trading up $3 last night. But Berkshire moves stocks, so you've got to respect when he adds a position or decreases position. He also was LUV and DAL was two that he raised the stake. Both of those stocks are trying to trade higher. They were up last night. Again, it's such a terrible tape that everything that was up last night is struggling to get back up here again. But that's the market environment, that we're in, at least for this morning. One thing to consider is that if the market turns around, these could be some of the stocks that go up first. I mean, the LUV, I like the LUV DAL, not only from the Buffett buying them today, but oil is weak today. And that's often good for airlines here. And if you look at the chart of the LUV, it has actually been in a pretty good uptrend right now. So the trend is your friend here. Same thing with Delta. So two stocks that actually, if you're able to get them on the cheap here and the market weakness, they could pop back today. So if the market does turn around, those are going to be two stocks that are going to turn around probably faster than the other ones.
Well, just looking at this Delta here, and I do see it trading up 44 cents. But if you take a look at your monthlies, folks, if this thing gets anywhere near $56, you've had a high at 55.72. That was this month, and then April 56.02, May 56.12. 55.84. So 3-year last 4 monthly highs right there at 56. I'd be keeping an eye on that. And I was listening and I wasn't adding everything up, but does it sound like he took more money out of it? To me, it sounded like there was a lot of sales in there. I know there was some buys and stuff, but I think if you overall his net position, I'd be curious to add everything up and see if he actually took more money out of the market than he put into the market this quarter.
He usually doesn't do that, so I'm not sure if that's the case. But there's definitely a few of these positions could have been some profit taking too. So it's a good point you're making. We got 8:27, so we got 3 minutes for imbalances. They're going to be interesting, I bet you, today because we got a lot of movement here. But we got a lot of other headlines to talk about. We had a merger. We haven't got to the merger yet. We got FANG EGN. So FANG is buying EGN. Do you have the details on this one, the ratio?
Let me pull it up real quickly. They're buying EGN. The ratio, so 84.95 is the price on EGN. Values it at $9.2 billion. I don't have a ratio top of my head right now.
Okay, so just looking here, EGN trading up, and FANG is trading significantly down. So that's typical where you see the acquirer now, they absolutely kill it. They're killing it down 7% here. We saw this in the case where they really rock them. So I'd be careful on FANG because they just have not been given any love to people or to companies who are paying a premium for stocks right now. And you're obviously paying a big premium here on EGN. So I'm not surprised it's down 7%. And I would be cautious. What was the stock that did that acquisition? Oh, it was AVGO. Remember when they bought, who did they buy? AVGO. They bought, I'm forgetting now.
They tried to buy Qualcomm. It was
no, they bought, but then they ended up buying what? CSC? Was it CSC?
Computer Sciences.
Who did they buy? Help me out, chat.
That sounds right.
Was it?
Here, I'm gonna find it real fast.
Go look at the pro. You can see the day, anyways. It was like 2:30 pre-market, and we're just like cautious on it. It went under $200 that day. It was CA. Sorry, CA, not CA. But great, thanks. So you can see CA with a big pop. So when you're paying a big premium, they don't buy these stocks back right away. Look at AVGO. It lost actually almost 20%. It lost 40 points. It lost 18% on that. So be careful here with stock only down 6 or 7. I mean, it is an oil stock. They are energy stock. They are obviously, related to oil. Oil's weak here again today too. But I'd be cautious coming in here buying at 124.50 just because they've been really rocking the acquirers when they're paying a premium.
Your pre-market low, the initial spike took to 123.20. So that will be an area of support if we get down there. Not a lot to lean on under the 123.20. Really, things get going to the downside. 121.65. That was your low on June 26. So trying to recover. Big drop and some decent volume. Halfway decent volume here. I wouldn't say enough to really hold it down here at this point. But, man, long consolidation period. Long way to go to fill the gap at 132.57.
Let's go to ratings here. There's a lot of really interesting ratings here this morning. I'm just going to jump over into, let's go to the chat here. CMG is getting upgraded here. Morgan Stanley. This is way late to the party, but I tell you, when they get, a vote of confidence from a big broker, the stock's going to go higher. It's trading up 13 points here in the pre-market, breaking out over $500 here again. Stock has really come back. I mean, the last 3-4 months been an impressive move. Morgan getting bullish here this morning.
And what about since the last food scare, when this was back at the end of July, early August, dipped it under 440. I didn't even have this thing on my screen. Now you're trading at the highs of the pre-market session, 507.89. We have not been over 5. We hit 499 in May of 2017. So, yeah, stick if you're long. It's good. It's a great up move. Man, if this thing can hold 500, I know it's $6 away, but I just think, man, a lot of targets are going to be met this morning on this upgrade. So be careful. No way up buying this thing at 506.66, up 2.7%, $13. Wow, big move. Nice move for CMG.
Not shorting it either, though.
No. I haven't.
It's a breakout on the chart. I'm too scared to short it either. I'm not buying. I'm not short. I'm just hands off, I guess, on it here. Market is trying to crawl its way back here a little bit. Back to ratings. Yeah. Back to ratings. The big one from this morning, a big one from last night is NVIDIA. I talked about it briefly off the hop. It is getting the double upgrade from Wells Fargo. What does that mean? They're basically going from sell to buy, underperform to outperform, raising their price target from, what was it, Spencer? Give us the details, price target.
Oh, man, 140 to 315.
Oh,
This is crazy. Like, we're dead wrong. Now we're going right on board here. If this isn't the sign of a top, what is? Anyways, I am long it right now. I said that already. I'm long AMD, or I'm long NVIDIA, short AMD as a pair trade, trying to take it through, just because I want to extract the alpha of the run-up of the NVIDIA into their event. Disappointed, obviously, that NVIDIA is not up more on this, but, it's up $1.30 here now with the market getting killed. So it's actually still a pretty good day for NVIDIA, considering how bad some of the other chip stocks are getting beat up here. But I'm going to take this off before the earnings. I'm definitely not holding NVIDIA through earnings, not, with the nervousness that's out there right now.
Is that a typo from 130 to 350? No, that's actually, wow.
This thing blasted off in orbit last night on this. It was 261.50 trading flat. That rating change came out, and it went to 264 like fairly quickly. This morning in the pre-market, it was trading over 265. But, then the market got annihilated, and this thing actually went red, which I was like, really? They're going to take it red? It's pretty big, bold trading. Anyways, look, what's going on in NVIDIA right now? Just tanked. Anyway, it just fell 70 cents as I was talking about it. But impressive move here for NVIDIA. Impressive rating change, I would say.
So it's tomorrow after the close, right?
Yeah.
So this is,
you got 2 days with that. I'm not taking it through. I will not take this through.
Yeah, everyone doing the Dennis pre-earnings run here, I think we'll be looking at the range from yesterday. We are at the top. We did take out 262 was yesterday's high, closed at 61.43. So important, get over 262 and hold 262. Last time you're up here in this area, you really caught a cold. I think it was earnings. If you're really looking for some meat on the bone, 64.34, 64.45. That's kind of the area that it topped out last night. That was a double top from June 20th and June 21st. New in the Google chat here, Phil, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. He said, can you talk about LMT, Lockheed Martin?
Big contract.
Yeah.
Did you see that one, Spencer?
Yeah.
Big contract they got?
$218 million contract.
Bigger. They always get multiple contracts there. I saw a $3.5 billion contract.
Yep. So that's what
you see it. You see it, Joel?
Yep. Well, yep. I'm seeing it I'm seeing in the chat here.
$2.9 billion contract. So huge contract that they get here overnight. I mean, that probably would have boosted the stock. I actually did buy a little bit of Lockheed Martin on that news, but I've turned around and sold it because it's a tape that nothing wants to go up in on good news. So, I mean, it's just, it's like everything gets, except unless you're CGC and a pot stock, that's the only exception to the rule here today. But, good news is not good news on a day like this. And that's why I've turned around and sold LMT. But I mean, on other things being equal, I would have thought LMT would be up today, but I don't think it can rally in this tape. So if the tape turns around, this is another stock that has the potential to turn around faster than other ones, but it's all going to depend on the overall market.
Just now that you had to pop and now you've turned around, you're back into yesterday's range. If you're looking for, two targets or some potential upside here, the close was 18.59. I'm sure a lot of people would like to see that after the good news coming out. And then yesterday's high at 320.21. So those would be a couple targets. BZ Tokyo, Dennis, we're getting a lot of requests here. Are you hanging in your Micron?
Yeah, and that's long-term, not looking at it. So that is my long-term retirement account. This is not a trade. I have no trade on this. This is a long-term investment. I'm going to look at this thing back in 15 to 20 years. So I obviously have different accounts. I have swing trading accounts, day trading accounts, which none of that is in. This is in a long-term investment retirement account with it's called RSP money in Canada, and I think it's obviously different over in the US. I'm not looking at it. So I'm down in it. It's been a terrible call. I bought more the other day. Terrible. I've had terrible entry into this, but I still think long term, when I look at, the stock market 10 years from now, I think Micron is higher. So I am buying this as a long-term investment.
50.10 was a prior low of the move. You're trading under that. So 50 could be a battleground. Under that, there's no monthly support to 45.33. So 50 is the battleground. Dennis, Echo Graph was talking about the pre-market trading in Canada, and there isn't any pre-market trading in Canada. Just for clarity's sake, let's just check on that.
Yeah, Toronto Stock Exchange has no pre-market, so you see indications. So if you get quotes and you can see indications of where stocks are going to open, there is no pre-market trading in Canada. Wish they would get it, and if they do, let me know if they, because I don't really watch it closely, but I'm, not seeing any plans for them to open up pre-market trading. Obviously, it would be very exciting if they did, but a lot of markets don't have pre-market and after hours. They just have the regular markets. Unlike the U.S., we know stocks open at 4 a.m. and trade for 4.5 hours before they actually open up at 9:30. So I think eventually they will get pre-market trading. I think they're missing out on a lot of revenue potential, obviously, from that. So I don't see why they wouldn't, but I mean, they haven't up till this point in time. So I don't see any immediate plans for it either.
Also, Joel. CGC, peel it back here. Oh, we're late. That's Spencer. Okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I was hanging out, waiting to interrupt you. I'm bringing on Sean Udall right now. He's the tech stock strategist. He's the CIO of Quantum Trading Strategies. Sean, are you with us?
I am.
How's it going this morning?
Going good.
We're live, Sean. No good morning, Benzinga, or anything like that.
I did it. It must have connected after I said that already.
Joel specifically made a point to tell me to bring you on live, just so you could say that. So
yeah, no, I did my good morning, Benzinga, and then all of a sudden you said, "Hey, Sean, are you with us?"
Hey, Sean Udall. Sean is short this morning. All right, Sean. First of all, when I was on my trip, we had a quick call about Tesla Motors here, and neither of us had the nads to short it or whatever. We haven't talked about it yet today. Here now you're coming back to the kind of point of origin here, trading down 314. It was trading around 342 before that big news come out. Just give us a quick 30-second, Sean Udall, fundamental take on this issue.
It's fundamental and technical. That's it. It basically did exactly what like you said, if we would have had the cojones to do it, it basically is trading right back to kind of where I thought it would go, because I thought the news was kind of BS. And it turns out it really was. I mean, yeah, there might be some background to it, but I tell you what, this is going to be very interesting. He's definitely going to get fined. As far as fundamentals, Tesla just doesn't really make sense on the fundamental. I mean, I understand the bull case very well. And by the way, I'm going to say, let's do it. Give me a minute or less, because I think everybody has the bull case wrong. The bull case isn't cars. The bull case is if they change the paradigm on battery powered technology. That's the bull case for Tesla. So if any way you slice it as a car company, it's exceedingly overvalued, even if they get up to production, to meet production and stuff like that. But if they succeed and change the global paradigm on battery and power efficiency from solar panels and things like that, that's the only way you could justify the share price. So it's a very, very overvalued company, has been for a long time.
You know what? That's the thing that, when Nick Shaheen's been on, other people have been on, Gene Munster, it's a technology play. And I keep hearing that, and, it's going to change the world. That's a computer on wheels and everything. And then all big emphasis. I mean, he did everything he can to meet those quarterly production numbers. So what is it? We're a technology company. Who cares about cars? And then make a big to-do about it actually being a car company. So little perplexed on the fundamental story on that one as well. Sean, Mate Curtin wants to know, I know it's been a frustrating stock for you. Have you thrown in the towel on FireEye?
No, but I haven't added to it. Excuse me. So sometimes I'll have a position which has kind of been more frustration than ecstasy, and sometimes I'll just hold it but I won't sell it, and that's kind of where I am with FireEye. It's got at this point it's basically got to go up, or I'm not going to buy more. Put it that way. It's too cheap. The reason I'm not going to sell it here is because I know it's not worth $14.65. It's worth minimum $22.65, and it might be worth $32.65. But the problem is I'm not going to tie up a bunch of capital waiting another 6 months, 8 months, or 2 years to make 40% in the name. So I honestly, at this point, I'd rather buy it on a buy stop type deal.
Interesting.
If it can show me it can trade back above, 16.50, then I think it'll get ahead of steam. And I mean, really, here's the funny thing. If this thing goes up 4 points, it actually becomes a very bullish technical play. Meaning if it gets to 19.50 or 20, this thing could actually go up a lot. So I don't know. I'm just going to wait on it.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. I know you've been tempered on the market up here. A lot of people looking for new all-time highs. To me, I think we're just still in a trading range here. Give us a couple stocks on your short radar.
Yeah, same. Well, my favorite short, and it has been, is IGV. It hasn't done a whole lot. IGV is an ETF loaded with a lot of these cloud names, these very, very overvalued cloud names. And so, I mean, I could literally rattle off 6 shorts out of the top 10 of IGV. But IGV is a favorite short. One of my former favorite shorts, which I covered, was Varonis, a company that's just like Varonis, is newer. That's New Relic, NEWR. There's quite a few names in that space that I like as short, and I'm currently short.
Okay, and it's just because, I mean, it's had I see the run up it had, and now it's having a nice rebound. It looks like this IGV here just 192, 191, several lows in that area. Trading range in that one. I don't know how many people actively trade that issue, but keep an eye on it. So Sean Udall bears some of the cloud names. Finisar, I know that's a stock that you had been pounding the table on here, now getting back up towards $19. Where's fair value on Finisar for you?
Well, my fair value is closer to $40. I think most analysts' fair value probably have it, I don't know, 23 to 25. And what they'll do when it's 23 to 25, they'll just end up raising their price target to 29, then 35, then 40, and then whatever. But the bottom line is, so you had pinged me and said, what are some of your 3 favorite longs? Finisar broadly would be part of one of my favorite longs. One of my favorite longs is a field bet on the fiber optic space. So that's a few names, but Finisar is kind of like one of my top 2 names in that space. That's a space that includes Light, that's Lumentum. It includes Acacia. It includes Viavi, which just reported last night, a very good report. Includes MTSI. So the interesting thing about this space is they've all just reported, and this is the first good quarter the group has seen in a while. And I've said one thing I like about this space is I think it's going to end up being counter-cyclical. So I think when other parts of tech are having a hard time with slowing growth and tougher comps, actually these guys are going to have easy comps in ramping growth. So I always like an area that's counter-cyclical, especially that it's strongly counter-cyclical, which I think they will be.
Okay. All right. A few months ago, we talked about the crude oil market, and you gave me a bullish scenario. You said 75, 80, maybe $100 in it. Been in a recent trading range. I'm looking at the crude oil futures here, down 69 cents. I mean, the problem, for me is how is crude going to get that high? Because once, the higher it goes, the frackers can come online, and just you're going to get more and more supply here. But are you changing your bullish thesis on crude oil yet?
No, no, I still like it. In fact, the most interesting thing, and there's actually some pretty good buys in this space, because you got, I would argue that not many, if any, oil companies are actually trading on the lift in crude. So it's I mean, like Whiting's had a huge comeback, but that was that was almost priced for bankruptcy, and they obviously didn't go bankrupt. But yeah, there's a lot of oil stocks I'm actually looking at. Silica is a name that I'm long a little, that I'm looking to increase. That's SLCA. But I think oil does go to 100, maybe a little higher. I think the industry has kind of figured it out, though. Like you said, I think if it gets a little too high, more supply comes on. But here's what I think people are missing. I think people are missing the fact that is as much as people want to call for a recession in the U.S. in like 2 quarters or 4 quarters or something, and maybe we get a blip of one, the global growth story is actually an expanding story and probably going to be supportive. I would say maybe for 2 years. So I mean, we've just seen countries kind of come out of the gutter, and some of these emerging market economies start doing well really just the last 6 to 9 months. And so usually when you get an emerging market cycle, it's at least 2 to 3 years. So we're pretty early in that. And I think people underestimate how much more oil gets consumed when for every like percent uptick in global GDP. And so I think that's kind of what's driving it. Plus, I've always said with you guys, I mean, oil will be at its high right before whatever time that Saudi Arabian IPO comes out. What is that? What's the name of that again?
Aramco.
There you go. So whatever they need to do to make Aramco a really hot IPO, they'll do it. And so if $75 oil does it for Aramco, that okay, maybe it'll settle here, but I don't think so. I think you need $92, $95, $105, $110 oil. Otherwise, that thing's just going to be a big flop. So, it's going to be the largest IPO in the history of the stock market. I guarantee. Now, that's not saying I'd buy it, just like I wasn't a buyer of Alibaba when it first came out, and that kind of top ticked the whole market for a while. But yeah, I mean, funny things happen that way. I think we'll see oil basically have a bid under it until Saudi Aramco, goes public.
Sean, you just mentioned Alibaba. Let's just talk quickly about the China names. They've been absolutely assassinated here over the course of the last month. Baba's went
good. They should have been.
Baba's went almost from $200 down to $167. Do you start looking at these things and start thinking eventually there's going to be an opportunity here in something like an Alibaba or a Baidu? I mean, they're down 20% in a month. Is this something you're kind of looking at, or do you think there's more pain ahead?
No, I do. In fact, I was short a couple of these, the what I call the sexier, newer names. The shorts were a name like Hua, Huya.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah.
If that hits 25 or lower, I will probably get long that. I'd really like it at 20. I don't know if it's going to go that low though, but they had a kind of a really good report, but I mean, they basically purposely guided lower. So, the stock is going down, which it should, but see, it was already going and it went up too much. Alibaba might be interesting. I don't love, that's a name. I love that name at like 60 to $80. And that was a long of mine. I think I had that for like 4 quarters. Went up more.
Not at 170 though.
Yeah, no. I mean,
60 to 80, not 160 to 180.
Yeah, I probably missed the last 60, 70 points of upside. I could care less because I made a juicy return on it. But the bottom line is it's probably getting ready to bounce. The question is it a bounce that's durable? 140, 150, something like that would maybe get me an investment long. But I started looking at it like literally yesterday and the day before. My view though is I'd rather probably play a Hua. Or, there's like 3 of those new Chinese IPOs. Yes,
DILI.
There you go.
SOGO. Yeah. There's another one.
So when the China's bounce, those guys will probably just bounce more. It'll probably be easier trade for me. And then I'll play the bounce.
What's your signal that the bounce is coming? Because it's so hard when they're going straight down. I mean, do you just come in as a contrarian and say, well, it's just gotten too cheap now, it's due to bounce? Or do you look
well,
for
I will signal? To a point. It's okay. Kind of like what I've just talked about. Like a lot of people were trying to buy Hua, I think, yesterday. I don't know if that trade's going to work. In fact, I think there's a
they're down 7% already.
Well, there you go. But I was just going to say there's probably like a 70% chance. I would have said this yesterday. There's 70% chance they're going to get stopped, and so they might be getting stopped right now. But so let's say their stop though is a little more generous. I mean, if you're trading tech, you should probably use 20% stops, not 7% stops. First of all, because it just moves that much. So yeah, they're probably going to get stopped, and so I might try to soak up some of that stop pain. And again, like say at 20, I'd probably buy it, not sell it. I mean, at 20, I wouldn't care if it ends up going to 12. I guess I made a bad trade, but 20, I have value there at 20, and then at 15, I would like it a lot more because a name like this, I'm not going to buy very much. My initial buy anyway. So I might get very interested in that name at like 15 to 18. And honestly, I bet I would be surprised if it goes to 20. And at 20, I could get pretty interested at 20 to hold it for a while. And that's Hua, by the way. I don't know if I'd have the same parameter on some of the others, but that one's pretty interesting to me.
What about like one like BILI? Did you follow this story? And it's actually going to maybe make new all-time lows.
I thought that one was a little more shady.
Yeah.
That kind of just was that one I didn't like. So honestly, I haven't really followed it. What was the other one? I think there was two of. I think IQ. Probably
the Netflix of China. Everybody.
There you go.
$20 to $45, and now it's giving back 2/3 of that gain.
Well, and it'll probably go to 20. So now that's probably my second favorite one. Who is probably my favorite? IQ is probably my second favorite. Now again, Baba got cheap enough, but I still think the name nobody talks about anymore that really is the best China name is Baidu. So that I would say that's probably the only really super high quality tech company in China. Same thing.
Hey, Sean, let me hop in here real quick.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Great question here from John Dotson. Then we're going to wrap things up. How do you value Hua? Are you just looking at this on a technical? I mean, is that the one that's supposed to be the Netflix of China? Refresh my memory.
No, that's IQ.
That's IQ.
Yeah.
How do you value this company?
Well, I mean, you can value these things on current revenue metrics and growth rates and things like that. What I do is there's sort of the first 6 months of an IPO, then there's the next 6 months of an IPO. Without getting too long-winded, I sort of go from the initial IPO valuation early on as a trading post. So for the first 6 months, now once you get 4 to 6 weeks out of IPO lockup, then I go to my valuation. So I start putting things on my spreadsheets, and I start comping things to existing companies, right? The first 6 months, you kind of got to trade each IPO on its own merits, because they all kind of look ridiculous when they first come out, honestly. I mean, look at Zscaler. But hey, if I would have just said I'm not going to trade Zscaler because it's 3 times more expensive than my other security software names, I'd have missed 100% gain on it. So you kind of got to trade these things on their own merits initially, and then after they age a while, then they kind of get recalibrated to the rest of the market.
All right.
But I definitely value them. You can value them. You can put price to sales metrics and forward price to sales metrics and, calibrate them for growth and all that stuff. By the way, so before we go, I do have I'm going to call this an exceptional opportunity. So remember Ring, remember Twitter, that there's actually a stock right now that I like more than Twitter.
Can I guess?
Are you going to guess it? Yeah, go ahead. Try to guess it. Redfin. That's it. The sell-off on the earnings reaction looked like almost a frustration puke. It could go lower, but I don't really care. But I think I don't know if I was ever on with you guys when Netflix or not Netflix, Nutanix, NTNX became my largest position for a short period of time. But Nutanix, I started buying it, I don't know, 21, 22-ish. I really, really liked it at 18. I think the bottom was 15. I was like, okay, for every buck more, I'm going to increase my position a little bit more. Ended up scoring super, super huge. In fact, Nutanix has actually done way better than I thought. I thought it was a for sure kind of 35 to 45-ish name. It went to 60. But the bottom line, Redfin, I mean, this is just like, other people get excited when their stocks go up and they make money. I get excited when stocks I really like go down a lot, because that allows me to buy a far greater position than I'd ever planned. I mean, like my Twitter position ended up being about 3 times larger than I would have ever initially planned it to be. But if the market was going to be so dumb, it'd give me it'd be like, hey, look, if you give me New York real estate at 1/3 the price that it's selling for, I'd probably be interested in it. So that's a good compare. Or if you get what's a car, Porsche 911, you give me a $70,000 used Porsche 911 for $28,000, I'm gonna buy it. So to me, it's literally that simple. And in the world of algos, we just get more of these. We get more of these super incredible opportunities. By the way, the whole fiber optic space that I've been buying into the last 6 months has been the same thing. No, nobody could see 5G coming. Nobody could see the need for global bandwidth. The companies had 2 more bad quarters where they missed by a penny or two. Big deal. So I soaked up shares, and now we're in the first quarter where all those fiber optic companies have reported well. And this, I think, is the very early start of a big move. Redfin might take another quarter or two. The only issue with Redfin that none of us can control is they do have a real estate cycle that they're going to deal with. And so they're going to have bumps along the road if real estate gets touchy. However, they're a huge market share gain play. So, but yeah, I literally like that name more than Twitter right now.
All right, Sean, thanks so much for the time today. Sean Udall.
You bet.
All right. 8:56.
Go kill it, everybody.
You're going to try. All right. 8:56, guys. A few minutes left in today's show. Was there anything else you wanted to hit as far as
I think just overall thoughts on a day like this? And, if you have a shopping list, especially in maybe some of these foreign stocks that are just getting assassinated, and you're a long-term investor, maybe there is going to be some opportunities here. I mean, Sean, great contrarian trader. We love having him on the show because it seems like so many people just go with the flow. And a lot of times we're guilty of that as well, going with the flow. We're shorter-term traders. We're going with momentum. Momentum has been king. Sean's a little longer term, and he doesn't mind taking heat on something. He's not going to get all margined out and blow out his account. He's buying stocks, that he feels is got good value there. He's like your value tech investor. And you know what? He finds it, and the stuff eventually seems to work out for him if your time frame is long enough. If you're following Sean and you're a day trader, it could be more difficult because he's a contrarian trader. But longer term, he's often right. So, I love having him on because it's great to see those contrarian views come on our show when so much is just momentum trading. But think about that today. So, you got a big down day here. Overall, S&Ps, I find it hard to say, okay, we should buy the dip in the S&P. It always seems to work. But I mean, the other markets are such in shambles. We're like literally 1.5% off all-time highs. So if you're coming here buying, you're not really buying a long-term dip. It's not like, whoa, the market's so cheap, I got to jump into. Certain stocks, yes, but overall market, it's hard to make that case. I mean, even the NASDAQ, what are we off the highs, Joel? Like 1.5% off the all-time high?
Yeah.
I mean, hard to say like we've got a big dip in tech stocks here and we're going to load up because, they're all going to come back. I mean, if we start to get a spillover effect, and I still think that could be coming, we never even mentioned the European banks here this morning. They are annihilated here once again. I mean, Turkey is actually just trading slightly down, but Deutsche Bank is trading down another 3%. Barclays is trading down. Banco Santander, SAN trading down. This is going to hit the financials, the U.S. financials this morning. If you look at them, they are very weak. So, I mean, there's still a lot of issues overseas. The question is, does it spill over here? It hasn't yet. And maybe it doesn't. And, and that's why, the U.S. has been the safest place to go. And maybe that just continues. But you got to be somewhat cautious because there is some red flags over here if you're just randomly buying every stock because there's definitely some issues overseas which could spill over here.
I'm just going to go strictly technical here on you. Shocker. Spencer, maybe if you could show the daily chart in the S&Ps. Yesterday's low is 25.75 or trading below that, but Monday's low 20 even, current low 21. Friday's low in this area too. I mean, that's it. I mean, we hold 28.20 today. I'm looking, greener skies ahead. I think the sellers are going to come down off that 28.43 level, but it's all today about 28.20. I think we take that out. I think over the next few days, we easily get under 2,800. I am sticking with my top of the trading range theory. I just don't see the impetus for this market to bust through and go back to new all-time highs. So that's what my take on the overall market. Cisco reports after the bell. Just a quick technical look on that one. Had a nice run up, I believe. I think it got killed after last earnings. It's had a nice run up, trading down 20 cents in the pre-market. I mean, high of the move, 44.39. Yesterday's high, 44.28. If you're looking to trim here ahead of the report.
All right, that's going to do it, I think, for us this morning. Busy morning. Fast market. I hope everyone has a handle on things. Hope we were able to answer your questions. If you missed any part of our show, you can catch our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, or Google Play, or just watch the show on YouTube. Thanks to our guest, Sean Udall. As far as tomorrow's show, we will be joined by Ryan Craver, our favorite, or one of our favorite retail gurus, to kind of break down retail earnings for us. That'll happen tomorrow at 8:35. Thanks to everyone who joined us in our chats today. Quick reminder that all the information presented on today's show is for informational purposes only and not meant to be investing advice. That's going to be it for us. So everyone have a good day, and hope you join us again on Thursday.